I was watching a video from an ex-JW, a former sister, right? She put her feelings out there in the open. She was talking about her dating life and how she went on a few bad dates, but she eventually found someone. And she is now engaged, soon to be married to this person, right? But she was telling some dating stories. I was like, oh shit, she's real. Like, she's keeping it real. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people, they don't want to talk about the bad. They only want to talk about the good, right? But when you leave the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses, right? When you leave any cult, especially the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses, and as you guys know, when we were but when we were in the organization, right, we were taught to date to marry, right? We were taught to date to marry. But when you leave that cult, you meet new people, you date new people, right? And you may not be, you might not find your soulmate, but it is extremely important to date. It is extremely important to put your feelings out there and tell people to continue to go forth no matter what, right? Now, this is something that I've struggled with for the longest time. I struggle with putting myself out there, right? Because most of my life growing up, I was it sounds so embarrassing to say, but I told you guys, those of you who have been following me for a long time, I already told you guys, I will always be honest. I will always be upfront, right? So here I am putting my feelings out there on the line, putting my truest thoughts, my darkest secrets out there, right? But anyway, I've always been used to rejection. Rejection from friends, from family, from potential lovers, people that I were interested in, right? They wasn't interested in me, but rejection should be my middle name. It should be Jerron Rejection Benton. That should be my middle name, Rejection, right? But I always put myself out there, especially now. Hold on. Even I put myself out there now more so because now I realize, once I've woken up from the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses, right? I realized that one day I'm going to die. And I was doing some research as to when it comes to elderly, older people, right? Their number one regrets, right? Their number one regrets. A lot of them said that they regret things that they didn't say. They regret things that they didn't do. They can't get that time back. Once you're in the 70s, 80s, 90s, you can't get that time back. You can't get your youth back, right? And they have so many regrets. They kept saying, oh, I wish I did this. I wish I did that. That's one thing I never wanted to say. So once I realized that this cult is a man-made cult, and one day I will die, if I were to live to be 60, 70, 80, I don't want to have any regrets. I always want to tell people how I feel. I always want to tell people how I feel no matter what, right? Because at the end of the day, you can't go wrong by being honest. You can't go wrong. If you're being honest, upfront, raw, and real with people, you can't go wrong. If the situation doesn't work out in your favor, at least you was honest. At least you was upfront. At least you gave it a chance, right? You did your part. So, since I've woken up from this cult, in the last 12 months, right? I came out as a full-blown apostate ex-JW in 12 months, the last 12 months. And I put myself out there. I said, you know what? I said, you know what? One day I'm going to die. I'm not going to be here forever. So I put myself out there back in the dating pool, right? And mind you, the last person that I was seriously interested in, right? It was a sister in Australia. A sister in Australia. She contacted me while I was to fellowship a few years ago. I haven't spoken to her in years. And she goes on and say, She sends me a message on Facebook saying, "Oh, you've been in my mind. I've been thinking about you lately. I really hope that me and you can pursue something, right?" But when I came out and said, "Hey, listen, I have doubts. I don't think that this is the true religion, but I still want to be with you because you said that we had a true connection." The minute I said I don't want to be a witness anymore, she changes the whole role, the whole game plan. "Oh, you don't want to be a witness. We can't be anything. I can't talk to you. I don't want to. No, we're done. If you don't want to be a witness, then we're not gonna have any kind of relationship." And it made me realize that she really didn't like me for who I was. She only liked me because she was ready to settle down and she wanted a witness. But it wasn't me, because if she actually liked me for me, I could have been doing my thing, right? I could have left the organization. She could have been a witness. Me and her could have still made it work, because I actually liked her for her. She was a real, genuine, down to earth person. Easy to talk to, the whole nine. Easy to talk to, right? But she wanted a witness at the end of the day, which made me realize that she didn't like me for me. So, anywho, and that was heartbreaking, because I actually really liked this person. I really thought me and her was gonna, hit it off one day. I thought she was the one at one time, right? But anywho, I left the religion, came out full blown apostate. Now I'm out in the world and I'm dating, right? I'm trying to put myself out there. Now, mind you, I was inactive for quite a long time. Like you guys, a lot of you guys who've been following me, you guys know my story. I have been inactive for quite a while, right? And like I said, I will always be honest with you guys. I will always be upfront. I will always be raw and real, right? In my 20s, I wasn't trying to settle down. In my 20s, I was just trying to sleep around. Like I was a hoe. I guess you could say that I was a hoe in my 20s, right? But I am now in my 30s. I'm done with that shit. I am done with that whole shit, sleeping around. That shit gets tiring after a while. After a while, people want to be loved. You don't want just casual sex after a while. You want to be loved. You want someone who you can fall asleep with at nighttime. You want someone to call you their one, right? You want the one after a while. So that's the point that I am at in my life right now, right? But yeah, so I put myself out there in the last year, right? I'm gonna tell you guys a few of my encounters, my dating experiences. What happened, right? So I was on Tinder, that's not the place to be if you're trying to date somebody. By the way, if you guys are just leaving this cult or any cult, Tinder is not the place to be for finding the one. It's not the place to be for finding someone serious. Tinder is a hookup site, right? So if you're looking for something serious, don't go on Tinder. Anywho, so back in January of this year, 2024, a few months ago, I was in Australia, right? And I was on Tinder in Australia. And I matched with this female, this woman. I matched with this woman, right? And we were talking on Tinder for a little bit. Then we exchanged numbers. I told her, so listen, I'm only in this city. I was in Sydney, Australia, right? Sydney, Australia for a week. I said, I'm only here for a week. I would love to meet up. We've been talking on the phone. We've been texting. You're down to earth. You're real. I would love to meet up with you, right? She lived an hour away. And check this out. This this ex-JW, he's now an apostate too, but he woke up in out there in Australia. And thank God, me and him, we kept in touch. We're still friends to this day. So he was dating someone who lived an hour away as well, right? So he tells me, he said, bro, listen, if you want to bring her over to the place, by all means, feel free to, have 2 bedrooms. You could, crash at this place if you want to. And he said, I'm going to be out of town, but I'm going to leave you the keys so you can have the place to yourself. And he said to me, if you want to, invite this girl over, feel free to do so. So he goes to see his girlfriend, who lives an hour away. And then this girl that I was talking to on Tinder, she's an hour away also, right? She comes. So my friend who gives me the keys to this place, he leaves. And then this girl that I'm talking to on Tinder, she comes, right? And keep in mind, I have no desire to do anything sexual with her, right? Because I'm not about that life anymore. In my 20s, I was about that life. We meet up, we sleep around, fool around, whatever. In my 30s, I'm gonna be 40 in a few years. I don't want anything fake. I don't want anything superficial. I'm not about that whole life anymore. That's done, right? So I made it clear to her. So listen, you're free to come here if you want, but no funny business is going on. I'm not about that. Not anymore. So I said, you could come here. We could have, have some dinner. We could have a conversation, get to know each other better in person, the whole nine, right? This lady comes over. She drives an hour out of her way, right? And I was appreciative of that. I was really thankful of that. I was surprised that she actually came. But she drives an hour out of her way, right? We ordered some Thai food, and it was one of the best dates I had in my life. You know why? Because here you have two strangers talking. She drives an hour out of her way. We ordered some Thai food, and we're talking for 6 hours. I kid you not. We are talking for 6 hours, right? The TV doesn't even come on. I'm thinking at one point, the conversation's gonna get dull. We're gonna have to turn on the TV, and no, I didn't touch the remote not once. Me and her are literally talking for 6 hours about any and everything under the sun. Dating, sex, relationships, religion, so forth and so forth. We're talking about every and anything for 6 hours, nonstop. Not once did we engage in anything sexual. Not once did clothes come off or anything. We just had a heart-to-heart, face-to-face 6-hour conversation. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh shit, this is going good. We're talking for 6 hours? This is one of the realest dates I had in my life. I'm loving this, right? And at the end of the date, she goes on and kiss me, right? We do this long smooch. We all smooching and kissing and whatnot. And I'm like, yes, she likes me. This is good. This is a great date. The next day, I sent her a message. I said, hey, listen, we had a really good time. I enjoyed talking to you. That was one of the best dates ever. We was talking for 6 hours. I want to get to know you better. I said to her, I know I don't live here. I know I'm on vacation, but I really enjoyed that date. I really enjoyed conversating with you, right? And she goes on to say, oh yeah, I had a really good time too. But I didn't feel any romantic chemistry between us. And I'm saying to myself, hold on. You didn't feel any romantic chemistry between us. Then why did you stay for 6 hours? Why did you make out with me at the end of the date if you didn't feel any type of romantic chemistry between us? That makes no sense. You know how dumb I feel right now? I felt stupid. Because you invested 6 hours talking to me when you already knew in the back of your mind you wasn't planning on seeing me ever again. Why would you do that? You just let me on for nothing. Give me blue balls. So she didn't feel any type of romantic chemistry between us, right? And I was pissed off because I said to myself, and I said to her, I said, why would you talk to me for 6 hours? Who does that? Why would you make out with me if you didn't feel any type of romantic chemistry? That makes no sense. But at the end of the day, right? I put myself out there. I got rejected. Wait, how many days? So this year, about 2024, right? I went on about 3 dates. 2 out of those 3, the woman that I met with, they said, "Oh, you're a nice guy and all, but I didn't feel any romantic chemistry." The one person that did feel something, right? She lived in another country in Europe, She didn't want to, of course, she wasn't interested in a long distance. She was only here on vacation. And she said, oh, yeah, I did feel some type of romantic chemistry. But, you over here, I'm in Europe. I'm, a whole nother continent, right? Whatever. But we did vibe, we did connect or whatever. I do respect that. But the moral of the story is keep putting yourself out there. You may get rejected time after time, right? I kid you not, I have been rejected most of my life. Most of my life I've been rejected. That's why I'm kind of scared to put myself out there, right? But I had to remind myself, just like the beginning of this video, like I said, these older people, right? That were questioned, these elderly people that were questioned. And people asked them, what was your biggest regret? And they were saying, I regret not living my life to the fullest. I regret not doing this, not doing that. I don't want to have those doubts when I get older. At least I put myself out there. At least I approach women, right? And the last year, the first time in my life, back in 2023, the first time in my life, I allowed myself to approach people, women, right? And walk up to them with no expectation, nothing at all. Say, oh, miss, you're beautiful. You are an extremely gorgeous person. You have nice eyes. You have nice lips. Whatever, right? So forth and so forth. I let people know exactly how I feel. I put myself out there for the first time in my life. So anyone who struggles with putting themselves out there, I want to encourage you guys, don't stop putting yourself out there. Don't stop doing it. Keep doing it. People need to be reminded of their beauty. Even if it backfires, even if nothing comes from it, these people reject you, they're mean to you, whatever. Keep doing your part. Keep putting yourself out there. You can't go wrong by being honest. You can't go wrong by being raw, upfront, and real with people, right? And when you approach people, please approach them with pure good motives. Because when you approach people with pure good motives, you cannot go wrong. You can't. And a lot of times you will be rejected. I have been rejected the majority, not just dating, friendships, my family, father, like you guys who've been following me, you guys know, I've told you guys already, my father never loved me. My father always rejected me, right? But I'm always going to keep being myself, right? And well, hold up. By the way, hold up. My father only rejected me because in his eyes, I was never cool. He compared me to my younger brother. My younger brother, he's cool. Everybody loves him. He walks in a room. He walks in any room and people automatically flock to him. Like he has that charisma. He has that swag, right? And that's good. That's good for him, right? I don't have that. I always tell people I have no charisma. I have no swag. I am not cool at all. Like, I'm just me. When it comes to me, what you see is what you get. That's why the people that love me, they really love me. Because I don't put it on the front. I can't be fake. I don't know how to be phony. I don't know how it is to be cool or have swag or have charisma. That is not me. All I know how to do is be me. So the people that do love me, I know that they love me for me because I'm not putting it on the front. I'm not putting it on the front. And the people that don't love me, the people who do reject me, it's because they were looking for something else. They were looking for someone who does have swag, someone who is cool, someone who does have charisma, right? And good for them. But all those people that have swag, charisma, all those people that try to be cool, they have to keep being that person. Me, I don't have to keep being nobody but me. All I have to do is be me. That's it, right? So I want to encourage anyone and everyone who's leaving this cult, right? You're going to have some hard times ahead because you're transitioning from the organization to the world, right? Well, the world, the world. But you're doing a big transition right now. And a lot of people, they're not going to quite understand where you're coming from, that you was born in a cult. You thought one way for so long, right? But it's all right. Guess what? Keep putting yourself out there. Now, there is a big possibility that I might die single. That's a possibility. Tomorrow is not promised to nobody, for starters. Two, not everybody meets their soulmate before they die. There's people that died in their teens, their 20s, their 30s. They've never found their soulmate, right? So, and one thing about me, as you guys may already know, I'm not an optimist. I'm not a pessimist. I'm a realist. I see things for what it is, right? Now, when we were in the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses, we convinced ourselves that paradise is right around the corner. Oh, the end is near. We're going to be in paradise any day now. We were optimists with no sufficient proof that this is really the truth, right? There's no proof that this is the truth. But we kept lying to ourselves. We kept being optimistic, even though that there was no sufficient proof. So now that I left the cult, I see things for what it is. I said, oh shit. I'm not a witness anymore, but I'm not 100% out in the world, right? I'm like in between, in the sense that I don't know what it is to live a normal life. I'm a bit peculiar. I'm a bit of an enigma, right? I'm a bit different. I'm a bit weird. So, realistically speaking, for anyone, for me to expect anyone to love me, knowing that I'm peculiar, I'm weird, I'm a bit of an enigma, I'm different, that's a lot for someone to take on. So, yes, I'm going to keep putting myself out there. Because we only have one life, guys. We have one life. And you never know who you might meet. You never know, right? So I want to encourage everyone. If you're out here, if you just left this cult, right? And you're in the dating world, keep putting yourself out there. A lot of times, people do meet their person outside of the cult. My homeboy that I just told you about, but my boy in Sydney, Australia, the guy that I just told you about who left the cult too, right? He is now dating someone, and he is happy more than ever. He left the cult. He's dating this worldly girl, and they're happy together. He's happy with her. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for them. So you can find your right person, right? But keep putting yourself out there. It doesn't matter. You might be rejected time after time after time, just like me, right? But you don't know what's going to happen the next time. And in the meantime, while you're being rejected, guess what? You get to keep working on yourself. You get to keep becoming the better version of yourself. And I realized lately that I have a lot of flaws. There's a lot of things that I need to work on internally before I can meet that person. So I'm going to keep working on myself, right? So I want to encourage you guys, if you're looking to date someone, if you just left this cult and you're looking to date, please keep working on yourself. Put yourself out there. Try to mingle. Try to meet new people. That's how you learn in life. You're going to have some bad dates, but guess what? You're going to have some really good dates too. You're going to have some good people out there that really like you for who you are. And you know what? You might end up rejecting them. They might not be right for you. Right? But no matter what, keep putting yourself out there. Because you never know what happens. And like I said before, for the first time in my life, just last year, I allowed myself to be raw, upfront, and real and honest with people. I approached women for the first time in my life. Last year, I'm 36, right? I approached women for the first time in my life. I said, hey, miss, you are gorgeous. You have, if I saw any good qualities about them, I addressed it. Miss, you have nice eyes. You have nice lips. You have nice toes, whatever, right? I approached them. I told them exactly how they felt. And you know what? I told them exactly how I felt. And you know what? A lot of times they were like, oh, thank you. I needed to hear that. You just made my day. Thank you so much. People need to hear that sometimes. Even if it doesn't have to go nowhere. You don't have to date that person, right? You could just say, oh, miss, you have a nice smile. Hope you have a nice day. Keep it moving. Don't expect anything in return. But when you compliment somebody, that can brighten your day, right? But just keep putting yourself out there. You never know what happens, right? You can never know. There's so many good experiences, so many good stories I'm hearing where people left this cult and they found their true, 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 they found their person outside of the religion. But you won't know unless you put yourself out there. So keep putting yourself out there. You might get rejected, but eventually you might find your person. And in the meantime, keep working on yourself. Keep becoming the best version that you possibly can be. That's all I have for today's video. I love you guys as always, and I will see you on the next video.